God sends three angels to Avraham in human form. He believes they're humans. He does hospitality at a special level. But why did God send three? One angel was Raphael, the angel of healing, because Avraham had to be healed. He was circumcised at the age of 99. It was a very tough recovery, so he was sent to heal him. One angel was sent to, excuse me, just one moment. So one angel was to heal Avraham. The other angel was to inform Sarah she was going to have a child. And the third angel was to go destroy Sedom and Amorah. Because as it says, they were evil. They openly, knowingly defied God. Okay? After they leave Avram's home, so there are only two angels left. The angel who came to inform Sarah, he went back to heaven. But the angel, Raphael, he went to Sedom to save Lot. Just as an angel heals, he has the ability to protect that one shouldn't be destroyed. So one angel went to Sedom to save Lot and his family, whoever was going to be saved. The other angel was Gabriel, the angel. He's the angel of fire. He was going there to destroy Sedom because they were evil. Now, when we speak about the attribute of justice, it's called Midas Hadin. What is Midas Hadin? What's the difference between Midas Hadin, Midas Harachman, the attribute of justice and the attribute of mercy? Justice is, it's precise. The evaluation is exacting, and as a result of that, the result is based on that exact evaluation. As you say, you get what you deserve. Midas Harachman means God is more flexible. He's tolerant. He'll ward it off. He'll put it in abeyance. He'll only make you pay partial payment, not the full payment. Whatever it is, that's the attribute of mercy. But din is exactness. Whenever we find the term hashkafa in the Torah, it means to gaze. Gazing is a very specific, focused view of something. So when the angel left Avram's home, the Torah says, the angels, they rose from there and they gazed upon Sedom. Sedom being the largest of the 5 communities that were going to be destroyed. So here Rashi cites the Chazal, the Medrash, whenever we find hashkafa, that term used, they gazed, it's always in the negative. Except when it says, when we go and distribute all the tithes to the rightful parties, and we do an act of chesed, and the parties are beneficiaries of that, receiving that so-called that kindness, and after we distribute all those tithes, we say, Hashkif Mot Kochcha, you should gaze from your heavenly abode and bless us. Shegodl Koach Matnas Aniyim, great is the power of the gifts to the poor. Shehofech Midas HaRoges L'Rachmim, it overturns the attribute of anger, which is the attribute of justice, to the attribute of Rachmim, mercy. Normally, gazing represents negative on the extreme level, because the gaze is so precise and the valuation is precise, and therefore the consequence of that is full attribute of justice. Except when you give charity to the poor, that's able to overturn the attribute of justice to the attribute of Rachmi, mercy. Why? Now, Midas Hadin is what? God is precise. He evaluates every aspect of that transgression. Doesn't give you any leeway. It's gazing. Why people poor? There's enough money in this world. If people would give what they should give, we wouldn't have any poor people. Because people, when they see a poor man, they see him through a certain type of lens. And say, no, the world has poor people. It's not my responsibility. Or it's other people's responsibilities. Or the person, we have every way to somehow deflect the responsibility. He should be working. But maybe he's handicapped. Maybe he does, and he doesn't have enough to cover the expense for the family. There are endless reasons why he's poor. At least investigate it. Investigate it. I don't have to investigate it. It's not my issue, it's his issue. So why don't people give charity as they should? To alleviate poverty in the world. Because they don't gaze. Because if you would really look into that person's situation, the way God creates a person, you would feel that person's pain and his need and his shortfall, and you would compensate for it. So naturally, we don't look into somebody else's situation. The person who does look, he does gaze, and because he did his due diligence about another person, and he was interested in another person, that's what precipitated the chesed. So therefore, it's measure for measure. Midas adin is God gazes. Why does God gaze and makes that exact, precise evaluation? Because when you behaved the way you wanted to behave. You didn't think about the consequences and the ramifications of doing the wrong thing. You think you're in a position, you sit in your ivory tower and you pass judgment to others and you do what you want. What about the person goes and takes other people into consideration? To the point that he's willing to share his means and material needs with others to alleviate their poverty, to alleviate their plight. So what is that? The person, what is the basis for that? He gazed. So since you utilize gazing in a positive context, God says, I won't gaze upon you to prosecute you, but rather it'll be to the other way, to appreciate what you did, which is not natural, and overturn the attribute of justice to the attribute of mercy for that reason. That is the midah keneged midah. That's measure for measure. You find by Moshe Rabbeinu, he comes out of the palace. And why did he come out of the palace? He came out of the palace because he wanted to see how his brothers were faring. Sometimes he went out with an intent. Person walks down the street, doesn't enter his mind what's going on in the world. Unless it's something which is so jolting, you don't even notice it. You just gloss over it. But if you're going out to help people, and your eye is geared to locate that, because you're going after that intent with that intention, you'll notice. But how many people are looking for that? You don't look for it, you don't notice it. You see it, but you don't notice it. It doesn't touch you in any way. So the person who's looking to do chesed, he will find chesed. He'll find enough opportunity to do chesed. Person's not looking for chesed. Even when a person approaches him, he feels the person is what? Is burdening him. You're disrupting my life. What are these people knocking at my door? I get so much mail, I pay an extra fee to take away the trash because these people send me all these requests in the mail. How many times do I have to not respond? But they don't give up. Person even gets upset. You hear what's going on here? You thank God, have what you need. People are sending, maybe they're truly in need. Or the man knocking on the door, maybe he's truly in need. But he has no right to disrupt my life. It will be your child out there knocking on another's door, and he doesn't want to eat. Or you'd say he has no right to disrupt somebody's life when it's your child. Or it will be you. Well, you can't make ends meet, and he's coming to ask you for some help. And it's legitimate. It's always because there's me and there's you. And if it's you and it's not me, it's you, I have no relevance to you. So the whole mitzvah, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, that you must love your fellow as you love yourself. That means you take the other person in consideration as you take yourself into consideration. And if there's what to consider, you respond and you attend to it. If there's, after you've taken that into consideration, you don't say, it's not for you, it's okay. So you let it go. But at least take it into consideration. Give it some level of notice. Many years ago, when I used to go from shir to shir, there's some people who used to accompany, walk me. And when they'd be walking down the street, they would notice things. And they would say, Rabbi, did you notice that? I said, no, I didn't notice it. Certain things were inappropriate things. And they said, how could you not notice it? The answer is, when you're looking for certain things, you notice. If you're not looking for it, you may see it, but it doesn't, you're not touched by it. So you don't notice it. You see masses of people. They stop to go and start discerning what they're wearing, how they look. It's a mass of people. You just go further. The other person was looking to see that person individually, and he's looking for something, he's going to notice. Because what you look for, that's what you notice. And that's life. God is about to destroy Sedom. And before he destroys Sedom, he informs Avraham about what he's going to do. And it's predicated on, because Avraham said it was going to be a great nation. And Avraham had a name change from Avram to Avraham. What is the representation of Avraham? Avamon Goyim. He's the father of all nations. So if he's the father of all nations, so who's under his dominion? Sedom and Amorah. These people are part of his dominion. So God says, before I will destroy them, I have to inform him that I'm going to destroy them. So he shares with him. You see, these 5 communities, Sedom and Amorah and the 3 other like vassal states, because they've reached a level of evil, I will remove them from the earth. What does Avram do? Avram's whole life was disseminating good values, godliness, monotheism. These people are evil. When he hears it, he said, Baruch Hashem, God is cleaning house. He's getting rid of all these bad guys. But he doesn't do that, Avram. Avram goes and he enters into a very severe, intense debate with God. How could you do it? Maybe the 50 righteous people among these 5 communities. In the merit of those 50 righteous, you should save all 5 communities. 10 tzaddikim per community. God says there's no 50. Maybe the 45. Maybe the 40. Maybe the 10. Maybe the 30, 20, 10. God says not one solitary tzaddik in all these communities. When Avram heard that, he walked away disappointed. Why is he? And he spoke very strongly to God. He even put himself in jeopardy, because maybe he spoke out of turn. Why is he fighting for these people to the nth degree? They shouldn't be destroyed, where they are truly evil. Why? So the way I understand it is this. Now, we have the covenant between the parts that God had made with Avraham. That ultimately, that his descendants, the Jewish people, are going to Egypt into exile. From the birth of Yitzhak till we left Egypt was 400 years. We spent 210 years in Egypt, in bondage. The question is why? Why did we deserve this exile, this level of suffering? Millions of Jews died during this period of time in slavery. After 210 years, we left. After 10 plagues, God punished the Egyptians, and a few million Jews left. 600,000 men above the age of 20, men less, women and children. We all left Egypt to go to Sinai. What did we do? Why do we have to go through this so-called purging process to be worthy to go to Sinai? So one opinion in the Talmud is, if you remember last week's reading, we read about the battle between the 4 kings and the 5 kings. It was a world war. And the 4 kings defeated the 5 kings. They were the powers of the world. When Avraham had heard that his nephew Lot was taken captive by these 4 kings, because his son Lot lived in Sedom, Avraham immediately went to war. And he destroyed the 4 kings. Destroyed them. He was the victor. And now he has all these people are his spoils of war, including the material. The king of Sedom comes to Avraham. This man was so evil. Do you know what his name was? His name was Bera. Bera. And the king of Amor, his name was Birsha. Bera and Birsha. It's more than Mutton Jeff. Bera means he was the essence of evil. Could you imagine? That's his appellation. That's his title. I am the essence of evil. The other person, his partner, his name was Birsha. Whatever Russia is, being an evil person, he's an exaggerated evil person. And they pride themselves. So the king of Sedom, Bera, comes to Avraham. He says, Avram's the victor. And with a level of arrogance, he says to Avraham, give me the people, you take the spoils. Give me the people. Avraham says, I wouldn't take a thread from you, even a bootstrap. There's no way you're going to say you made me wealthy. I want nothing from you. But there was a claim against Avraham. Even though you don't want the material, what about the people, the human beings? If he would have taken them and said, I want the people, he could have converted them at that time to monotheism. And if he would have converted to monotheism, ultimately he would have to destroy them. So why ultimately the years passed? They went further and they totally deteriorated, spiritually speaking, to the point they were a point of no return. But why did they reach a point of no return? Because when Avraham was the victor, he did not take them under his wings. If they would have been under his influence, he would have changed them. Because he did not, and he let them go, and they were destroyed. That's why the Jewish people went to Egypt. Because you weren't concerned for these children, and they became pagans and evil at that level, your children would be exposed to a similar environment. That's the measure for measure. So Avraham believed when he was told that Hashem's going to destroy Sedom, this is his last chance. Maybe he could save them. Through this dialogue, maybe God will not destroy them. And as a result of that, he'll be able to correct his wrong, and the Jews won't have to go into Egypt, won't have to go into exile. That's the reason why he fought for them to such a degree. So Hashem says it's hopeless. Why? Because if there would have been 50 tzaddikim in their merit, I would have allowed them not to be destroyed. But there's not even one tzaddik among all these communities. If that's the case, there's no saving grace. There's no chance of revival, resuscitation here. Spiritually, they're over, they're gone. Once they were destroyed, that was the last nail in Avram's coffin. Now the Jews are doomed. We have to go into exile. We're going to Egypt. But that's the reason why Avram fought to such a degree for them. Otherwise, why is he? He should sing praise, Hashem's praises. Thank God. God is removing this evil from the world. No. Removing this evil, there's a level of culpability. Because Avram, you could have prevented a lot of this from deteriorating to this point. If you would have taken then when you were the victor, and you did not. Therefore, there's accountability. And how do you pay for that accountability? Your children, your descendants go into exile. We spent 210 years in Egypt to become acculturated and to become pagans as no different than the Egyptians. Noah, he was responsible for the generation to turn them around. He failed. God says, it's over. I will destroy the world. Noah being such a tzaddik. They asked, Avram, when he heard Sodom was going to be destroyed, he prayed to God immediately. And God said, no, it's no, okay. But at least he took an initiative to pray. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was told, I will destroy the Jews because of the golden calf, he prayed. And as a result of that, he annulled the decree. It was rescinded. Why did Noah pray? That's the question which is asked. And the early commentators asked the question. The answer which is given is this. Unless you have an opening to make a request, a pardon, you have no right to open your mouth. If the king says it's over, there's no chance to even attempt to say differently, it's a disrespect to the king. The king gave his final word. It's over. It's like, I don't want to hear about it any longer. So where do you have the audacity all of a sudden bring it up again? When Hashem said to Noah, it's over, it's over. Therefore he couldn't open his mouth. So it's not due to he's being heartless or cruel. When Avraham prayed for them and entered into this dialogue, Avraham all of a sudden is informed God's going to destroy Sedom. So Avraham had a question in his mind. You want to destroy Sedom. You have to ask my permission. Why is that information pertinent to me? Why do I have to know that? So Avraham, the way he processed it was, you know why God's telling me? Because I may have something to say about it. Maybe I have to enter into the fray and maybe evoke the attitude of mercy that they should not be destroyed. Because why else would God actually share this information with me? That was the opening. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was told, I will destroy the Jewish people, the golden calf, you know what God said? Allow me to destroy them. Allow me. So the Talmud says, God has to ask Moshe to allow him. So from that, he understood it was that if I intervene, he won't destroy them. If I stay away, but if I enter into a state of supplication, he won't destroy them. So it's only because he had an entry point that he understood he was allowed. But if you understand you're not allowed, then you keep out of it. So why did Avraham enter into this dialogue, which was a very intense dialogue? Because he was told. Because you want to destroy them, and I have nothing to say in the matter, go destroy them. I'll find out afterwards. They were destroyed. Moshe Rabbeinu also. Allow me. What do you mean allow you? You created the world. You can destroy them if you want. What do you ask me to allow you? The answer is because I have the ability to make a difference, and he made the difference. And he evoked the attribute of mercy, and they were not destroyed for that reason. By Doach, I will destroy them. No ifs or buts. That's the end of the story. David Noach understood he couldn't pray. There's no basis even to make any request.